Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to auscastnetwork.com for details.
In a world where everyone says hello,
they dare to say,
g'day.
Yeah, g'day.
Yeah, g'day.
Yeah, g'day. Yes. Good day. Yeah.
G'day.
G'day. Yeah. G'day. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Good day.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Good day.
G'day. Hey. Yeah. G'day. Yeah. G'day, Tim.
Yeah, g'day, Leon.
Yeah. G'day, everyone.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Welcome to Yeah G'day Late Nights, hosted by the same two people that are worth nothing in a basement.
And there's no difference between the show.
No, it's just a different time.
We
And
say
it's-
fuck a bit more.
We-
Nah, we probably don't, though.
If we said it more,
Keep it polite.
that'd be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one where we're super polite.
Yeah.
The only weird thing about this is that it's Tuesday, the week before this is released.
Yeah, which is weird because of the subject matter. We usually record on a Saturday.
Yes, we do. I don't see what that has to do with this subject matter, Tim.
Well,
please
I mean, it's
tell
not,
more.
I mean, hey, it's not Saturday.
Hey, it's
That's
not
what I'm
Saturday.
saying to you.
Hey, it's Tuesday.
But the
Yeah,
thing
I
is,
don't-
we're talking about,
What are we talking about?
hey, it's Saturday.
No, I just told you it's Tuesday.
What?
Who's on first?
What show is that?
I get it. We're talking about the TV show Hey, It Is Saturday.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's something.
You know, we agreed on that beforehand.
Yeah, no.
But some good comedy.
Gee whiz, I've been at work all day, haven't I? So,
Looks like you were pushing out a shit.
what
yes.
is Hey It's Saturday?
Well, I could tell you, but you've got the facts in front of you. I can tell you it's a TV show that I used to watch every Saturday.
It is. It's very well known in Australia. It's a variety / vaudeville show, I guess you could call it. Sort of.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to pigeonhole exactly what it was. It was kind of like
A mess.
It was a mess. That is
was a
probably
good
the
mess,
best.
but-
It was great, and everyone from our age probably and older
And older, because it was on for such a long time.
know it. Yeah,
Um,
we're probably on the tail end of the Hey It's Saturday train.
I think
Anyway, let me tell you about Hey It's Saturday.
so. Please do.
Bloody hilarious it was, wasn't it?
It was actually.
The host, Daryl Summers.
Not so funny.
Yeah, but he's a legend, isn't he?
He's something.
And I mean, his stellar work on Hey It's Saturday got him amazing positions on Dancing with the Stars.
Yes. On the reboot of Hey, It's Saturday.
Yep.
I
I think that's it.
don't think
I can't
he's not
think of
even
anything
hosting
else.
Dancing with the Stars anymore.
yeah, that's
Um,
Grant.
so-
Little Grant now.
I think Grant's hosting it. No, because that's different network. Please, Grant is
I don't
Family
know.
Feud.
I don't
I think
watch
it's
this
Luke
shit.
Jacobs.
Anyway, let me tell you about the history
Mm.
of Hey
Please.
It Is Saturday. So it was on a Saturday night when we were watching it, but that's not
Oh,
where
that
it
makes a
began.
lot of sense.
Yeah. That's not where it started. It's always been on a Saturday, but when it premiered 9th of October 1971, it was actually a kids show, or it was aimed at children. It was in the morning, on
Oh.
a Saturday morning.
Okay.
And it was actually on Saturday morning for a very long time.
How long?
It went to prime time in 1984.
Far out. So
So like 13
years.
years it was on in the morning.
shit. Okay.
Yeah, so even in the morning, it was Daryl Summers,
Yes.
and then you had Ernie Carroll, who kind of did a lot of skits and did a lot of puppets. He did Aussie Ostrich.
Great. We talked about Aussie the other day.
We did. And then you also had John Blackman, who's quite well known in Australia as well. He did a lot of voiceovers for the show.
Yes.
So those were kind of the three there at the start and at the end also.
True. Blackman, is John Blackman, is that his name?
John Blackman, yeah.
I think he's the most interesting character in the mix, and we can talk about him as we get further on. But
Yeah, we watched that really good show about Australian vaudeville and stuff recently.
Yeah.
Remember that documentary, and they talked about John Blackman for a bit?
I think
That
it wasn't
really,
that
really
called.
interesting, actually.
It was called like It's Not Funny or Look Who's Laughing. Was it Look
Yeah,
Who's
something
Laughing?
like that.
Something like that. Yeah, Australian documentary. And my fact that I will share at some point about him comes from watching that. But
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
up to 1984, it was a kids
so
show.
yeah, so it was kind of a kids show, and it was very ad libby, as it was later on as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
They would just kind of bounce around. They did have red faces early on as well. So red faces, for those who don't know, I don't know how you don't, for God's sake.
Yeah, come on.
Do some reading about Australia.
Read about red faces.
Read a book. Red faces was like a talent contest that wasn't really a talent contest.
It was like the beginning of any of the Got Talent shows, essentially.
Yeah.
But most of the people didn't have talent.
Yeah, a
That
lot
was
of the
their
acts were really shit, and that was where the comedy came from, because you had like the panel of judges. There was usually like a couple of celebrities,
Yep.
and then you had Red Simons, who we'll probably talk about more later on as well.
Yes.
Who was the grumpy dude?
Yes.
He's ex-guitar player for Skyhooks, which is a famous
Great
Australian band.
Great band.
And yeah, Red was very funny. He always had something horrible
Red
to
was
say.
the original Simon Cowell.
Yeah, except funny.
And
Intentionally
talented?
funny.
I like Simon, but I don't know if he has a musical
Yeah.
talent.
The in-house band on Hey Hey It's Saturday, which was like Red Simons, Wilbur Wild, a bunch of those guys from various different famous Australian bands, was like
Wilbur
crazy
Wild
talented.
is a saxophonist.
Saxophonist.
A good one at that.
Very good.
And funny too.
So yeah, they had that. They had a lot of the early years. Basically, were just kind of them being a bit silly, playing around with the puppets. Then you had, there's actually in 1978, but you didn't know this, they went off the air for a little while.
What?
So what happened was Daryl and Ossie Ostrich, because they were on the 9 network,
Yes.
which is where Hey Hey It's Saturday always was, although until its reunion. Something weird happened there, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, then Daryl and Ossie did a show on 10 network. They did 40 shows of the Daryl and Ossie show.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Can't say I
which
tuned into that one.
I don't really know much about, because there's not much out there about it except that it existed. Only 40 shows, wasn't very popular, and then they returned to Hey Hey It's Saturday in 1979.
Gosh, 78 was a dark year for Australia.
Yeah, so obviously the 9 found out very quickly that it was a pretty big deal. So
Well, yeah, it's family time. Now,
Yeah.
later on.
It's still Saturday morning at this point,
Yeah.
but then it takes them another 5 years to move it to prime time. So 1984, they move it to a prime time slot on Saturday nights. So I think originally in the mornings, I didn't say this before, it wasn't actually called Hey Hey It's Saturday. It was called something else. It was called sorry, I've lost my place. It was called like Daryl and Carol or some nonsense like that. It wasn't called Hey Hey It's Saturday. That's what you need to know. That's where it comes down to.
That's the important part.
That's the important part. It wasn't called that. So they called it Hey Hey It's Saturday, moved it to prime time, and that's when it got a little bit more adult in its content. They got a lot of celebrities on. If any celebrities were in Australia, this is where they went.
Yeah, and I think sometimes probably unknowingly.
Yeah, they probably had no idea what they were doing.
But Johnny Farnham was a regular guest.
Johnny Farnham. A lot of Australian comics got their first major public gigs on there.
Was Dave Hughes a Hey Hey It's Saturday? Or was he a footy show?
No, Dave Hughes was the footy show.
Because Carl Barron was also a footy show.
Carl Barron was the footy show as well. There was someone, because when we were watching the documentary we were talking about earlier, there was someone that talked about their first go being on.
Wasn't
Hey
it like
Hey.
Fiona O'Loughlin or something like that? It was a
thought it was
female
a dude.
comedian because she was part of like a trio and they sang a song. Julia Zamiro.
Oh yeah, Julia Zamiro.
She started on there.
There was a famous actress as well who was on there. Well, maybe it was Kate Blanchett. She did a skit in Red Faces or something like that.
Yes, I think that was her as well.
Yeah, super weird. A lot of Eric Benner as well.
Eric was on there. Is
Eric
that where he
was on
started
there?
Poiter?
I think so. Yeah.
Or was because Poiter was part of that other show.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But Eric Benner was on there as part of the Red Faces, I'm pretty sure as well.
Probably, yeah.
He may have even done stand-up.
But so a lot of them... Oh, I think that was something they showed us, was Eric Banner doing a stand-up set,
Yeah.
which is a weird thing to watch because
It's
Eric
very
Banner
weird.
went from... He did good Australian comedy for a while there on those on those parody shows, but then he moved into his serious acting, which he was fine at, I guess, but like...
And he is very funny. If anyone hasn't watched The Castle, which we should do an episode on, The Castle, the
Castle episode
Australian
is gonna
movie,
The Australian,
which is like Hey Hey It's
cinematic.
Saturday. It's like an absolute classic. Everyone in Australia needs to or already has watched it.
yeah,
Um,
and Eric's in that.
and Eric's in that. He's very, very funny.
But and Kylie Minogue used to be on a fair bit.
Yeah.
I think probably both the Minogue girls were on there a fair bit.
Yeah, overseas stars. They had people like Sylvester Stallone, Tom Jones. I remember being on a couple of times.
Yeah, I think Muhammad Ali was on there as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, possibly. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Andre the Giant was on.
Yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan's a weird one to have on.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously the Harry Connick Jr. situation, which we
Yeah.
talked about at some point.
One of the things that happened with the show as well, they had what's his? Ian Molly Meldrum.
Oh yeah,
So Molly Meldrum, I don't know if people would really know who he is now, but I think back then, internationally, he was pretty well known. He was like, he interviewed and knew a lot of musicians.
well yeah, he did Countdown in Australia, which
Yeah,
is
he
our
was-
music show.
Very well known. And the story goes, which we also found on this documentary, I remember them talking about Molly lived really near to the studio.
Oh yeah,
And the producers and Molly were just like chatting about it, and then all of a sudden Molly had a 5-minute segment on Hey Hey It's Saturday,
Yeah,
where he would just talk about music for like 5 minutes.
and I also feel like they said like he just kind of there.
Yeah, he just
Like, I
kind
think
of
he
walked on and did it.
And like at that time, you would not have been like, "Hey, Molly Meldrum, can you go away, please?" You would have been like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this will be good."
In this time in Australia, because it seems like it was pretty reflective of everything at that time. In Australian TV, things were very loose. Like you could just,
But it was gold.
yeah.
So the loose nature of Hey Hey, like when we're talking about like live TV, it was like live.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about improvisation, it was super improvised. So much so that it was, I think Blackman talks about it, is that it was almost his job to try and trip up Daryl if he could.
Oh, absolutely.
With all his
yeah.
jokes in there.
They
And
had
so-
a good rivalry going on.
Yeah,
with
and
all
the thing
hosts.
that I think we found out about Blackman was, so he was the voice of Aussie Ostrich, he was the voice of Dickie Knee, he was the voice over, and
Yeah.
he was also the voice anytime that there was a phone call. Daryl had a phone on his desk that would always ring, and there'd
Yeah.
be some
He just
person
talked
calling
shit
in.
to Daryl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would just ring randomly, pick it up.
Yeah.
But I think he was talking about with Dickie Knee, wasn't it, where it was like that it just kind of appeared.
Yeah.
And they were like, "You need to give it a voice," and he was like, "Oh, okay," and just kind of
Just
went into it.
Spoke nonsense.
So like just jumped into it. And so that's, I think the reason I think he's the most interesting person is because he directed the show in so many ways, and I think brought a lot of the comedy when he initially, I believe, was just meant to be the announcer.
all he was supposed to do was that intro,
yeah, the intro bit.
and he ended up doing
So
a lot more than that. So
I think he is very important
absolutely.
to the show.
So yeah, you had those guys, and then like I said, you had like Russell Gilbert was on there, who's an ex-comedy company actor.
Yeah, so he was
Maury Fields.
he was the warm up. Russell Gilbert a lot of the time warm up the audience.
Yeah,
with some
yeah.
comedy.
And they had an in-house band, which was always fun. They played in and out of the ad breaks and things like that, and
Yeah.
sometimes they'd have musical guests on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Well,
You never really knew what you were going to get each week.
there's a segment from there which is John Stevens and John Farnham doing Jesus Christ Superstar from the 90s.
Yeah, which is cool.
Which was, so they just kind of, they showcase Australian talent. But Red Faces, are we up to that point yet? Can we talk about Red Faces for a bit?
Well, I'll just quickly say the series went right up until 1999. As a bulk, that's when it ended in 1999, and it had a 240-minute. That is 4 hours.
240 minutes.
The final episode
Jesus. Yeah.
was 4 hours long.
Yeah.
That's how big a institution this was as part of Australia.
They gave them
and
a
Australian
4-hour
television.
slot.
4-hour finale slot.
That'd be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
We should go back and watch
It would
that.
be really cool to watch it. But yeah, let's talk about Red Faces, because Red Faces kind of almost had its own show at one point, if I remember correctly. It was kind of like, it was in Hey Hey It's Saturday, but then it was still in it, but it was like a bigger deal.
Well, Red Faces ended up becoming, I think, the main draw of the show. Like when
Yeah.
I think about Hey Hey It's Saturday, why did I say Saturday so weird? I think of Red Faces.
Yeah.
That's where my attention goes to. So you've got this panel of judges. Now, Red was always there, Red Simons,
Yep.
who, as we said, is a famous Australian guitarist from the Skyhooks.
Yeah.
And then not Russell Gilbert, Wilbur Wilde was there a lot of the time as well. I feel like Wilbur and Red were our kind of common people that we had on there.
Yeah.
And then it would be, you know, if Kylie Minogue was there,
Whoever
or
the star was.
Harry
of that
Connick
week.
Jr. was there, which we'll talk about in a second. But people came on. So on Australia's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent, whatever, people, they have a good mix. They usually have a lot of people that are fairly talented, some people that are really talented, and then they have some people that are shit so that they can say no to and they can laugh at and things like that in the audition sequence. Red Faces was like 80% people that were shit. And that's what was so funny.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was it was I guess our version of the Gong Show, quite literally, because I think this is what they did on the Gong Show as well, is that behind the judges there was a massive gong.
Yeah.
And Red Simons had the mallet for it.
Yeah.
And when the gong went off, the act stopped.
Yeah, you had to try and get as much of your act out before Red hit the gong.
So you could be like halfway through your set and Red's just going to smack the gong. And sometimes like either the person performing or the panel would argue and make the person continue performing all that.
Yeah.
But pretty much when Red hits the gong, you're
it.
done.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen before him do it like as soon as someone's walked out. Like he's just gonged the fuck out
I've
of
seen
them.
him do it really early on in the piece, yeah.
So it was I guess that was the other thing, is that it wasn't just a talent show. There was this element of suspense of like, when's Red going to hit the gong?
Yeah.
And he would enjoy putting the audience through pain.
Yeah.
Because if it was really bad, I think half the time he would let it
Let
go on
for a really long
and we get
time.
stuck with it.
Yeah.
And so then the panel of judges would give scores. I think another thing that just
Red
popped
was
into my head.
notorious for a low score.
Well, yeah. So Red was, as we said, the surly one. So Red's giving zeros and ones and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, and telling them how shit they are or whatever. But they also used to have those the drawn pictures as well pop up on the screen, didn't they? Like the little doodles in there.
Yeah.
That someone would usually whip up. I think one of the judges, I feel like, was someone that used to.
Yeah,
do
there was
could have been
some kind of cartoonist in there, and every now and then they just draw like a picture of something Daryl had done earlier on, or some kind of nonsense like that.
It was almost. It's kind of. Again, it's that live fuss. It's like how South Park draw episodes in a week. It was like to make it relevant, rather than like if Daryl did something stupid, rather than wait till next week to then do a segment about the stupid thing Daryl did, they just immediately had a cartoon drawn and was like, here's Daryl like pooing on a chair, you know? Like it was like, you know,
essentially there was a structure, but within that structure, just whatever they thought was funny at that time, they would just do it.
And that's what we say about Blackman's role. His role was just to call down and be like, Daryl, I'm not enjoying this show at all. And be like the voice of the audience.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Red Faces, that was pretty much how that went. And there were regulars. There were some people that came multiple times. Like you had the guy that is now the host of Rock Wiz. He used to do the spoken word poems with that kid, which my mother hated, and I agree. It was very painful. Although I have rewatched it as an adult now, and I'm kind of like, oh, it's a little bit funny.
Yeah.
But so you had regulars that would come on and do stuff. But one of the big controversies of Hey Hey It's Saturday.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of criticism of Hey Hey It's Saturday because it's sexist, it's outdated, and it is. It's all those
During its time period, they were doing things that, when they brought it back for a reunion, did not fly.
Yeah, but so the big scandal, which would probably be the reason that some people would have Hey Hey It's Saturday on their radar if they weren't raised in Australia, is that Harry Connick Jr. was on. And a group of people came out and did a Jackson 5 number. But in doing the Jackson 5 number, 4 of them did blackface with afros.
Yeah.
And one of them painted their face white or whatever, you know, was white like Michael Jackson was in those later years. Obviously, blackface is not good anywhere, but they let it go on Australian TV for long enough in that segment. And so Harry Connick Jr. was very pissed off, very uncomfortable about it. He gave them a 0. The story he tells, like I read the quote from him, is like, you know, if this was in America, they'd say, sorry, the show's over. Like, over.
Yeah.
Like, that's the end of it. So that was a big point of controversy that I remember happening.
Yeah.
And that other points of controversy popped up because of the live nature of the show. Like, it's unscripted and you don't know what someone's going to say. And so people are inevitably going to say some dumb things, as Tim and I do on this show. But so that's the big controversy that came out of Red Faces.
Yeah.
But other segments, well, we talked in the other episode the other day. It's all in that was all in the bonus episode, wasn't it? So for those of you playing at home, in the bonus episode that Tim and I recorded the other day about ostriches, we went on a tangent about Hey Hey It's Saturday because of Aussie ostrich, and then we started talking about Plucka Duck and Dickie Knee. So another segment was the Plucka Duck segment, where so Plucka Duck was a man in a duck suit, basically had man legs, and the rest of it was a duck suit, wearing a hat and a vest. and he was a real dick, a real piece of shit.
He kind of show up at various points during the show as well. Sometimes, not for really any purpose other than to fuck with the audience a little bit. And like when I say fuck with the audience, I mean literally like steal their shit, mess their hair up. He was a little aggressive, to be honest.
Think of when you watch someone get attacked by a goose.
Yeah.
He just did that.
He had that sort of mentality.
So he would come on and like he would regularly start fights with like Daryl or sometimes guests. I think I've seen him get fairly arced up. But Tim, you aptly described him the other day as a lad.
Yeah, he's a lad.
He's an
100%. He even wears a cap.
The cap. He had a bum bag as well. Actually,
he
was the original lad.
100%.
For those of you playing at home that don't know what a lad is, go Google it. It's basically a chap.
But Plucka Duck actually grew out of another segment called the Chook Lotto, I think.
Yeah.
Basically, it was their way of giving away free shit.
Yeah.
But the Plucka Duck specific one, there was a big wheel involved, or you had to get the little stuffed Plucka Duck.
Well, it was like a carousel. It would spin around, and there were all these Plucka Duck toys on it, and you had to grab.
You had to grab one, and then the number on that corresponded.
Yeah, with a prize or with the wheel or something.
The wheel or something of that nature.
Maybe I think it could have been the classic. You got the prize, and then if you could spin the wheel if you wanted.
Oh, that's right.
I think that was the way
to see if you got something
This
better.
has got to be, I think, one of our top episodes where my mum's sitting at home going, "You're wrong. You're very wrong. Everything's wrong."
Well, I mean, they watched it for a lot longer than we did.
So the novel will come.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you had that. And then, like, I know the Wikipedia lists other segments, but
it does, yeah. I remember Celebrity Head.
Celebrity Head, that was good. So that's the game where you write. Everyone knows how to play Celebrity Heads. They just did it on TV.
There was various other little segments, but nothing that really stands out necessarily, except Molly's. They called it Molly's Melodrama, where he talked about that sort of stuff.
And they used to mess with Molly a lot as well. I'm pretty sure I've seen a number of pies in Molly's face.
Yeah.
That's a good way to... I think, and you know who it was? Plucka Duck. I'm pretty sure Plucka Duck used to put pies in people's faces.
Plucka, he was such a fucking lad. Like, even... did he have shoes?
I don't think he had shoes. I think he had duck feet.
Nah, he was such a lad. Like,
but he had the cap upturned. He had a bum bag. He wore a silk red vest. He was a lad.
He kind of disappeared off... He came back for the reunion, but he disappeared off the scene until, like... maybe 6 months ago.
Yeah.
For like a 4-week period. It obviously didn't do well because they took it off pretty quickly. There was a KFC ad where Plucka Duck was skateboarding down a hill. And we were
longboarding down a massive hill.
Yeah, like, what is this? Why does this exist?
It was very weird.
Yeah, and then it disappeared very quickly because it was clearly a shit idea, but yeah. You
have to remind me or someone do it for us that we'll have to find that ad and post it in the group. So, I guess in a way of semi on the way to the close of the episode and of hey it's like we can talk a bit more about the puppets because as I said we talked about it in the bonus episode, but so Aussie Ostrich was a massive pink puppet that sat on the desk next to Daryl, so it was the co-host was an ostrich and again
he actually ended up I think he left the show because Ernie Carroll left the show in like 92, I think it was.
Yeah, and you said Ernie Carroll was the puppeteer, but John Blackman was the voice.
John Blackman did the voice, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Or either way, it was one of those two doing the voice and puppeteering.
So he wasn't on there at the end, but he was on there for a very long time.
Yeah. So like again, good way to sum up Australia. One of our biggest shows was co-hosted by a puppet ostrich.
Yeah. Dickie Knee.
Dickie Knee is a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
Because again, number one, budget. Number two, the stuff he said.
Yeah.
So it was literally a wig, like a little wig mop kind of thing on a stick with a baseball, like a cap on.
Yeah.
And he would pop up at the bottom of the screen. So you always saw the back of his head. And he would come up and be like, "Hey, Daryl, tell her like that's my Dickie Knee impersonation."
Yeah, very good.
And he would, say something very crude. They always said very crude and off-color things, but they never said the thing. They were very good at innuendo.
The purpose was to throw Daryl off. That was always the purpose. And Dickie Knee was supposed to be like a little schoolboy. That was the character. Yeah. But yeah, he was a little shithead and always said quite crude things.
You've got the classic pun of Dickie Knee.
Yeah.
Now, I was reading in the Wikipedia as well that something I did not know and I wish I never saw was that there was a Hey Hey It's Saturday movie.
Oh, yeah.
In 1992, Warner Brothers Movie World opened
which is a theme park
Yeah.
in Queensland.
It's
for
very-
those who don't know what that is.
It's weird. I've been there. It's strange. I didn't
It is
realize it
odd.
opened in 92, which
It was fun in its time. It's a little past its date now. It was fun back then, though.
I feel like it would have opened before 92 because I feel
Yeah.
like my sisters and that went there when they went before I was born.
I don't know if they have a similar thing in America. I imagine basically what Universal
movie world.
Studios
Yeah, Universal.
is, but to Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And it's not
And in
very
Australia.
good anymore.
So whether it opened then or not, that's now I feel like I'm doubting myself. But they had a show that they filmed
Yeah.
live on set at Warner Brothers Studio, and supposedly what they did is in a week they made a movie that was called. Now I've just got to go quickly check what it was.
Silence of the Ham, I believe.
Was it Silence of the Ham?
Yeah.
It was Silence of the Hams, yeah. So it was the movie's premise was in celebration of the 50th anniversary of the film Casablanca and starred Daryl Summers as a private investigator named Rick Shaw, who is attempting to track down who is responsible for trying to destroy the world's movie business.
Rick Shaw, that's funny.
It is, but I feel like it means that he was probably doing some very racist things.
Oh, I imagine it's awfully.
Now, it was a
off colour.
45-minute feature film.
Yeah.
I think, is what I read. And they announced it on the show that they were going to air it. And I think it was the next week they aired it. That movie only was re-aired once.
Yeah.
After it was aired initially, it was re-aired once more, and then
It's probably in the archives.
Well, it says it never made it to like DVD. It's only now it's up on YouTube, which I feel like I'm going to have to go and watch it.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch it.
But it's up on
probably
YouTube.
awful.
So again, it was this massive part of Australia, and there was people like what was her Olivia? Was it? There was another co-host on there that was someone that I didn't realize was Hey Hey It's Saturday.
I don't know.
Because she hosts other things now. Lavinia Nixon.
I don't know who that is.
She's
to
on
be
there.
honest.
She's hosted other stuff before. She's been around for ages. Anyway, so I feel like that covers a lot of Hey Hey It's Saturday.
That's Hey Hey.
Now, what happened, Tim, with the comeback?
What do you mean? What happened? Oh, they put it on a Wednesday, first of all.
I thought
for
it was Tuesday.
Tuesday or a Wednesday for some reason, but still called it Hey Hey It's Saturday. But they never. I don't think they ever said it was going to be on permanently. I think they always said it was only going to be like a couple-week run,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
But, so what year was that? That year was, here it is.
Not very long ago.
Also, you were right. It was a Wednesday. So it ended, as you said, 20th of November 1999 from 6:30 to 10:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
That 4-hour stint. And then Hey Hey It's Saturday, the reunion was the 30th of September to the 7th of October. It was on a Wednesday from 7:30 to 10:30. Then they did Hey Hey It's Saturday 14th of April 2010 to the 20th of July 2010 on a Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30. And then they still did Hey Hey It's Saturday 16th of October 2010 to 27th of November 2010 on a Saturday. Came back. It ended on a Saturday, 7:30 to 9:30. I did not realize. So it was on for like the end of 2009 and all of 2010.
I didn't realize it was on for that long. I don't know why.
Like 2 or 3 months.
It's not. It's of its time. I don't think it will work anymore.
It doesn't. It
doesn't
doesn't
work
And
anymore.
watching back, I'm sure when we'll have a watch of some clips, and I'm sure we'll be going, "Oh dear, this is really bad." Awards. Most popular personality, Gold Logie for Daryl Summers. How many years did he win that, Tim?
At least 5.
3.
No.
1983, 1986, 1989. Now,
Nice.
the Gold Logie, as we all know,
Oh, it's a big deal.
is the biggest award
it's
on the planet.
It's a big deal.
And Tim and I are still waiting for ours in the mail. Then most popular light entertainment personality was Daryl. Most popular light entertainment and comedy personality was Daryl. He won the most popular light entertainment things. Most popular light entertainment program, 87, 88, 93, 94, 95, 97, 98, 99, 2000.
Right.
Most popular comedy show, 85 and 99.
It's got a lot of awards.
Yeah, actually, that I don't know why that's up here. Hey, let me have a look. So it won 19 Logies during the 29-year run. 29 years. Now, for some reason up there it says what I said before about Daryl, but down here you're actually more on par because down on this part of the thing it says, Oh, he was a nominee. He was a nominee for the most popular personality from 84, 85, 87, 88, 90, 91, 93, 94, 95,
Right.
96, 97, 98.
Etc.
Basically, Daryl in the show won a lot.
Yeah.
Russell Gilbert was a nominee, I think, once for comedy personality, but it won a lot of awards.
Indeed.
So that's the saga that is Hey Hey It's Saturday. That was once Hey Hey It's Wednesday, and once was a show that Tim can't remember the name of.
Yeah, something Daryl and Carol or something of that nature.
I'll have a look.
Some kind of future morning show.
Some kind of future
something like
backwards
that.
thing. So it was a great show. Now, as I said as well, Tim, the thing that now I love the show, but it was given like a 7.8 by IMDb and like an 8 out of 10 on TV.com or something. That to me seems very generous.
Yeah, it's viewed with rose-colored glasses.
Full of nostalgia. Like,
It's very nostalgic for a lot of Australians. The quality of the show may not necessarily be reflected by the ratings people would give it.
like we hinted at it. Now, you and your family, every Saturday night, did you sit around the TV with the family to watch Hey Hey It's Saturday?
I remember it being on. Yeah, definitely.
So I can remember that. Like,
Yeah.
Australian families,
It was a long show, so yeah, it would be on for the majority of the evening.
and I think that I think sometimes, because my bedtime, I think, was sometimes in the middle of the show, I'd be allowed to maybe get to, I think, red faces or something, that I had to go to bed. I feel like was a deal that Mum cut with me for a while. Mum's going to tell me that I'm wrong. But it as much as it had all the problems, but then again, every show that was on TV at that time had problems, like when you look back on it. But it was something that brought all of Australia to a standstill to watch every Saturday night.
For sure.
Something to talk about.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. What's that noise?
I don't know, Tim. What is that noise?
It is the Harold Holt watch. Fucking seamless. Well done, Tim.
Very seamless, and you did it for the first time. He says seamless and then immediately smacks his microphone.
Yeah.
I'm seamless.
Hey, I've got one.
Oh, do you? I thought that's a nice thing for you to have.
Yeah, no, I've got one here. Would you like me to read it?
Well, if I said no, you'd read it anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably. I don't give a
no,
shit what you think.
go. Hey,
I'm going to read it.
for
Hey. Listen.
Okay.
Dear Tim and Leon, long-time listener, first-time writer-innerer. Lads, I just wanted to let you know that I saw Harold recently at a house inspection at an apartment in Brunswick East. Looks like Harold is searching for a two-bedder on a 6 to 12-month lease. Not sure what his plans are, but I imagine he'll have trouble getting his payslips in order for the application, having been missing for such a long time. Big fan of the show. Cheers for a good laugh. Your mate, Macca. Is he your mate? I don't know him.
I thought he was your mate.
Oh. He comes to a lot of our parties.
Mac is
I
always
thought he knew
there.
you. Yeah.
And we have a lot of parties, Tim and I. We're huge party animals.
If you know us for anything, it's parties.
I guess it would be hard to apply for a house.
Well, I mean, yeah, he doesn't have any rental history. He doesn't have any pay slips to prove his income.
You'd be paying cash on the day.
Oh, yeah, if the real estate's dodgy.
Well, if the real estate's dealing with Holt.
Depends where he's... I mean, Brunswick. Good
Brunswick?
luck, mate. There would have been a lot of people at that inspection.
I was going to say, that's pretty busy. So he's also hiding in plain sight again.
Yeah. I wonder why he wanted to get an apartment up in Brunswick East.
Well...
It's close to the city, but it's not too close.
Well, maybe he's trying to get closer to home again, but
Maybe.
he's giving a bit of distance still.
Maybe.
Harold, just what are you up to, mate? Let us know.
Right in. Tell us.
Tim, I'm just looking through this list of stuff about Hey, it's Saturday.
Yeah, right.
Had a mental blank. I can't find any other name for it.
Yeah, that's why I got confused, because they didn't actually tell us. But when I read about it going to primetime, it specifically said
Well, it said
that they changed the name to Hey Hey It's Saturday.
It says in 1971, Hey Hey It's Saturday was a Saturday morning children's program. So I assume that just means it was called that.
I don't know.
And then, yeah. But anyway.
You heard it here first, folks. We do not know.
You heard it here first. Tim and Leon are very bad at reading Wikipedia.
Yes, we are unaware of what that situation is. get your lack of news here first. Come
Get it
to
here
our
first.
podcast. to
Two
not know
guys
things.
in a basement.
Yes.
Tim, I assume that we had a cracking week that just went by.
Yeah.
I would assume that things
I
skyrocketed.
imagine the next 3 days will be moderate.
The fame that you and I achieved in the last week, first of all, thank you. It's been great to have that come through. Obviously, we don't really want to talk too openly about the controversy of the last few days
Yeah, that's true.
of Jaeger Day. Tim has apologized, and I have removed that picture from social media.
Yeah.
It was, look, hey, as you guys know, the beginning of July is always a tough time for us.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, Selena Gomez is a very nice girl, and we are friendly. Things are back to normal. I'm assuming that she's involved in some way.
Look, I
don't know.
I put in a good word with Miley, as we all know. Miley and I, we're on pretty
She meant
good
the
terms.
bridge. She meant the bridge. What am I trying to say?
I don't know.
Mended the bridge.
Oh, she mended the bridge.
Yes.
Yeah. So we thank Miley.
Mended the bridge?
That's Miley Cyrus. Sorry for anyone that obviously our friend
Let's call her
Miley.
I call her Cyrus.
Yeah.
She doesn't like it. She hates it, actually.
I sometimes call her Hope because that was her original name. Her original name was Destiny Hope Cyrus.
Ugh, gross.
I mean, I don't know that.
Yeah.
And yeah, she helped us out with the Selena situation.
Yeah,
So
no, I appreciate it.
remember that happened on the
the day,
first,
that other day.
1st of July. That
Yeah,
happened
why
on the
not?
1st of July. That was a big deal. Tim, as always, I would like to thank T-Smell, Smelly Belly, What a Girly, for our wonderful cover art.
And, of course, to Curtis Fernance, Fern Tree Music, for our introduction, outroduction, and the Harold Holt music today.
That came in like a glove.
Yeah.
Like a musical glove.
Like a glove that's been thrown at you by a homeless man on the tram. Ugh, get it away from me.
And thanks to all our supporters out there with our Patreon, www.patreon.com/YagerDay. I'm assuming you all jumped on board as the new month has kicked in. www.jagerday.com, YagerDayPodcast@gmail.com, and at YagerDayPodcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And Tim, this week I want to end with a shout out for two shows from friends of ours, one that I've guested on a few times and one that I've been listening to. And I'm going to burp before I do it.
I love that show.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
So the first
It's hard
one,
to find on Spotify because it's hard to spell, but yeah.
yeah, how do you write a burp? So the first one is Blink and You'll Miss It, the Blink-182 Boxcar Racer and Plus 44 recap podcast with our friend James Anderson.
Good on him.
I've been on it. I think I've been on it like 4 or 5 times now.
Nice.
It's good fun.
Nice.
Good
Cool.
podcast if you're into Blink-182. And the other one is from our friend Kim Taylor with In Development, about indie games and the development there. So there's 2 episodes there waiting for you to listen to. You can crack into.
What does development mean? What is that? I don't know that word.
Development is an old wooden ship.
A stolen joke.
So yeah, there's about 2 episodes of that, and Blink and You'll Miss It. They're 5-minute episodes, and they come out every day of the week.
Every day.
So there's 70, I think, but you can catch up very quickly.
Sweet.
That's it. Anything from you, Timmy?
No. I'm doing well. Nothing's
Are you
changed.
well in yourself? Yeah, you feeling well in yourself?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go upstairs and eat dinner. I'm fucking starving.
I also just want to draw attention to how good you and I are, and by you and I mean, I think me, with kangaroo puns specifically. So I found my call.
I've not tried because I don't care. But you're not saying puns. So.
Come on. The one that I posted, definitely not today. Today's not Tuesday. Definitely not today.
No.
Was Rue You Even Lift for a buff kangaroo.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I love the support you give me.
Yeah.
As
sorry, everyone.
Always. Yeah, g'day, Tim.
Yeah, g'day, Leon.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Yeah, g'day, everyone. Catch you on the flippity flop.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.